Good morning, everyone. And today is going to be the first episode of a series of short videos on using Google Classroom. In today's episode, we're going to just talk about how to get logged into Classroom, create your first class, and just have a look at what the layout of the Google Classroom is. So the very first thing that I want to do is I want to go to Google Classroom. So I'm going to go to my browser search bar and I'm going to type in classroom.google.com. Now, I have decided to use Tiffany's email account for this first video just because she has not created a class yet, and I wanted to show you all what it looks like the very first time you create a Google Classroom. The first thing that you guys need to know is you need to make sure you're logged in under your school email account. If you try and use your personal Gmail account, you're going to get a little notification that says you do not have the rights to do this. And the reason that is only Google Education licensed schools or entities can create and use Google Classes. So really important. So if it comes up and you get that message, you can just come click up here and you can say add account, and then you can add your school account. So once you do that, the first thing you want to do is click on this little plus sign that they're pointing to that says create your first class, and you'll have two options. The first one is join class, and you can click this if someone sent you a code to maybe co-teach, or if you're going to be a student in someone else's class. The option that we want to use though is create class. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on that, and what you'll notice is a little box is going to appear that says create a class. And I have two options. I need a class name and a section. Now, remembering the naming conventions that we talked about before, I'm going to use a short 4-letter version of whatever class it is I'm teaching. So I'm going to use one of my technology classes as a sample. So I'm going to type in tech, and remember, it's all caps. And then I'm going to use 08 because it is for grade 8. And then for the section, I'm going to put down A. So that's Tech 08A. So that's for grade 8 technology section A. Now, if you have any questions about naming conventions, refer to the naming conventions document that I have already sent out. Because again, each person may have a different variation depending on what subject you teach, the different sections, whether you're in middle, high school, or IB. So check out the naming document, and if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to help. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click create, and it's just going to take a couple of seconds to populate the class for me. Now the first time I get logged into a class, you're going to see something here in your stream which says, welcome to your class. Do you want to take a tour to learn more? So you can click Start Tour, and what this is going to do is it's just going to highlight what Google thinks are the key things to get you started in using Classroom, and that's how to post to the stream. So it's this little circle down here with the plus sign in it, and that's how to, if you want to give your students announcements or create an assignment or ask questions, you click here, and we will spend more time on this in a later episode. When I click next, it's going to show me my class code, and this is the code that my students are going to use to join a class, and we will spend more time on inviting students and the class code in a later episode. And again, this is where I can invite students. So this is what my virtual classroom looks like. Just to break it down for you, in this top section over here, we've got your class name and your section, your name. Up here, you've got your email address, and here's where you could log in, change users. Over here, you've got select theme and upload a photo, and this allows you to customize what your classroom is going to look like, and they've got a lot of pre-loaded themes for you, as well as patterns that you can choose from, or you can choose to upload a photo. And you can change this as many times as you want throughout the year. I personally like to pick one thing and leave it, and the reason I like to do that is I'll just choose this red one. You'll notice that my background was a charcoal color, and now it's switched to red. The reason I like to do that is I'm more of a visual person, so I now am going to relate to my grade 8 technology class section A red. So when I am looking at it in a list view or thumbnails, I can also make that connection. Okay, when the red one is grade 8A. That's just how I like to work. Everyone's different, so you don't have to do that. I know there's people who change the themes and keep it interesting a lot for the students, but just for me, I like to color code my sections. And again, so you can change that as many times as you want. Then over here, you've got 3 horizontal lines, and I'm actually going to come back to that in a little bit later in this video. So now over here, we've got our menu option, and that's Stream, Students, and About. The Stream section it's like a blog. This is where all of the information that gets posted in your classroom, whether it's by you or by your students, if they ask a question or they make a comment on an assignment or an announcement, this is where we're all going to see it. And now, because it is set up like a blog, the older stuff gets pushed down to the bottom as you add assignments, and the newer stuff stays at the top to make it the most current. Now, you can move posts and things back up, and I will explain that at a later date. The next option is Students, and again, this is where you would go to invite your students or see the roster of students that you have in your class. Maybe you wanted to send them an email directly from here. This is how you would do it. And I will spend more time later on explaining that. And then there is this About tab. And I'm definitely going to spend some time talking about this in a later episode, but I just want to give you all a brief overview of it. So you can add a title, a course description. This could be what you want to talk to your parents about at back to school night, just a brief summary, where your class meets. You'll also see over here it's got a Google Drive folder, so I can access the folder for this class by clicking on it here, or I can access it going through my Google Drive. Then I've got the calendar option, so I can view my calendar in Google Classroom. I can also open up my calendar in Google Calendar, which is a really great feature that once you start posting assignments in your Google Classroom, it's going to create a Tech 8A calendar for me in my Google Calendar. And so I can also look at it there. And I'll spend more detailed time going over a classroom calendar in a little bit. I can also invite a fellow teacher. And then down here, I can add materials. And this is a really great place for you to add resources for your class. So if you've got something, say, how to cite sources or the 5 traits for writing or something along those lines, this is a really good place for you to post it, and you can post as many different things. It can be videos, it can be PDFs, all that stuff, and you can post it here. But we will spend some time later on talking about that. So just going back to the stream, actually what I want to do now is explain these little horizontal hot dog looking things for you. So when I click on that, this is basically my menu that allows me to navigate through my different classes. So my first thing I can do, and you'll see, is this little home button. Excuse me. So when I click on that, it's going to bring me to a dashboard of the different classes that I'm teaching. And then over here, I also have the calendar for all of the classes that I'm teaching, and I can look at all the classes or break it down by individual ones. Over here, I can look at the work that I have posted for a particular class or all the classes. So for students, they'll see all of the work that they have due, and for you, you'll see all of the assignments that you have due for your classes. Over here, I can choose the individual classes that I'm teaching. So if I want to navigate to it quickly, I can do it that way as well. And then lastly, down here, you can click on the settings and you can adjust your settings for Google Classroom. And the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about in this section is the notifications. So right now there's a check sign that says send email notifications. This means that anytime someone posts something or submits an assignment, you're going to get an email letting you know that this has happened. Now I personally like this because it just allows me to stay on top of what work my students have submitted and where they are. But if you don't want to get emails a lot or notifications all the time, you can just come in here and you can uncheck the box, and it will save it automatically for you. So it's an option for you. Alright, so that's it for the very first episode. We will spend some more time going over the details of a lot of the stuff that we talked about, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how to create your first Google class and what it looks like. Thank you.